afternoon, North Carolina. My name is JT, and today on this channel, we're going to talk about a special upcoming event here in North Carolina at the beginning of next year. So before we get started, let me give a quick introduction. To the far right here, we have Marc Arrington with Raider Mortgage and
Raider Realty Foundation.
Raider Realty Foundation, a nonprofit veteran organization for the Gold Star families. And then next to me is our special guest, Chris Bradley of Knuckle Up Appearances LLC, an event coordination and special guest appearance company. So before we get into the thick of what we're going to talk about today, let me explain first how I met Marc. So last year in March, I picked up my license as a realtor as I was exiting out of the active duty Marine Corps. Met him shortly after, and then he brought me into the fold of the charity environment, starting with the Veteran Business Collective, which led to some other things, and then on to the American Legion Post that I successfully stood up with two other members back in June. And then we got Chris Bradley here, our special guest. He's with Knuckle Up Appearances, so I actually met him. He is the son-in-law of one of my clients as a realtor. Brought me into the fold, invited me up to do I know we're still trying to figure that out where you land these days. So in the process of helping my client, he introduced me to Chris, and I was invited up to Fayetteville Comi-con last year in April, right?
Yeah.
And then led to...
it was October. And then
was it October? Yes, yeah. October. And then in April this year, I was asked to help become a sponsor and investor into the event up there in Fayetteville for April. And then that led to me working with Chris and looking at some new opportunities and options for the coastline of North Carolina. And that's where I'm going to turn it over to him and let him give his spiel and the big announcement.
Well, first off, Knuckle Up Appearances, we started it back in 2014. We started off as a booking agency for Comic-Con and signing events, bringing celebrities from all different franchises that associate with pop culture. From that, we branched off into finding out from fans what they really cater to, what they really like. Being a fan myself, there was things that I knew going into different events that I just would want to do differently. So that's what started my partnership, working with a promoter out in Texas, and I helped them with comi-con, which was a franchise specific, the first one of Dragon Ball Z, and everybody was against it, saying, oh, first year events, it's going to fail, and we packed the house out in Dallas, Texas. Next one I worked with, it was as far as a tribute to the late, great Jason David Frank, bringing in Power Rangers from all the franchises that he was involved with, holding a very special tribute, working with some great charitable organizations, because it definitely hit home, knowing him personally. And that's what kind of led to me meeting these fine gentlemen here. And the next event and franchise that we're looking to tackle is the Mandalorian. The idea spawned from my 4-year-old son. So Jackson, thank you. But there's no Star Wars celebration next year. And I started to notice in a lot of the fan groups, a lot of Star Wars fans were kind of upset because the Star Wars celebration this year took place in Europe and nothing next year. And the next one in 2025 is going to take place in Japan. So I wanted to, my first thing was to, okay, I want to set something up to where Star Wars fans can have something. And since Mandalorian is so popular and hot right now, I wanted to focus to be along that, being a fan myself of the franchise and the show. The next step that we wanted to do is find a location. So the location, I'm out of Jacksonville, and then Marc, you're here in Wilmington.
Yep, I live in Wilmington. Yep.
So Wilmington's just real close to home. Yep. Beautiful area. So we were able to lock in the Wilmington Convention Center, right there on the riverfront. It just seemed to fit. If you're a fan of the Mandalorian, you know that the Mandalorian goes to the Living Waters, which brings us to the title of our event that we're going to do, the Living Waters Expo. It's going to take place April 12th through the 14th of 2024. It's going to be at the Wilmington Convention Center. It's going to be right there on the riverfront, And if you want to imagine those are the living waters, don't jump in because the waters do have alligators inside of them. Um, so if you get out, you will be living. Um, and the next step was, okay, well, what does the show focus on? What are some charitable groups that we're going to work with that could tie into the show, but we're all passionate about? Uh, First and foremost, the show with the Mandalorians, they're a military, they're a militant group. So we wanted to reach out and find a charitable nonprofit organization that's going to support the military. And the next one is the foundlings, underprivileged kids. I've actually gained contact and am working with the YMCA to just give kids that chance to come out and enjoy the event and take away from whatever they're going through. And that's not just for them or the military, it's for all of the attendees. Yeah, the number one thing that I love about Comic-Cons is that it takes away from your everyday life for that 2 or 3 day weekend to just, if you're an adult, be a kid again.
How many have you been to? How many Comic Cons? A lot.
Yeah, probably in the hundreds.
Okay, well, I'm a total newbie. Never been to a Comic Con before. This will be my first one going to it. So generally speaking, when people go to Comic Cons, you said they kind of would like to kind of detach from, you know, their mundane, everyday type of reality,
Absolutely.
and they get to kind of get more involved. What's kind of going to separate you from the other like hundreds of Comic Cons that you think you've been to already?
Well, the number one thing that I've noticed, you know, it's always great going up to your favorite celebrity and getting that autograph, getting those 1 or 2 minutes of just being able to shake their hand, walk off, but then that's it, you know. And 9 times out of 10, you're standing in line for hours for that moment. So, what separates me and this event from other ones is the interactive ability. So our celebrity guests that we have coming to our event, we're going to be able to have VIP packages that aren't your typical Comic-Con VIP package. You know, you get your standards like an exclusive merchandise, T-shirt, a pin, VIP seating, line skip. So this way you don't have to stand in line, which even with the line skip, you got to stand in line.
Yeah, there's the line skip, line. There's the line skip.
We're going to
line.
give you one line for another.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create something to where they could actually do things. And we're working with the city of Wilmington. One of our celebrity guests has agreed for their VIP package. They're going to take tours of the battleship. And those are lasting moments that fans will be able to cherish for the rest of their lives, because you're not just getting 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You're getting 45 minutes plus.
You actually get to know them.
Right.
Right. You spend 45 minutes with somebody. You're actually
Absolutely.
going to like know more of their personality than just like the 2-minute handshake and how
Correct.
they kind of portray themselves.
And then also, instead of standing in line, we're going to have an app for our event. And it's going to give you a number, like as if you go up to a ticketing booth and you take a number and you wait for your number to be called. So we're going to be able to set up in that app for when people log in that they could go experience our other events that we have going on throughout the Comic-Con on that weekend while waiting for their autograph. And when their autograph's ready to come up, their number will ding on their phone and they'll be able to go using the app straight up, so they don't have to stand in line for those hours. They could experience things that we're doing, which we'll get into. Because the activities that we're stacking the event with is endless. There'll be things for kids, elderly, adults, families. I want stuff for everybody involved, and I want them to feel like they're at Disney, but not being at Disney. I want them to be able to have an endless schedule, and that's another cool thing about the app that we'll have is they'll be able to create their own itinerary, and they'll be able to schedule out what they want to do specifically throughout the duration of the weekend.
Awesome.
So
Yeah. Sounds pretty interactive.
yeah, that's a big difference between this event and like your normal Comic Cons. And I'm not discrediting them by any
course.
means.
Yeah.
But I wanted stuff that's creates memories. So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bringing the fans in closer to the experience instead of just a line in 2 minutes. So,
Right.
are you going to talk about the charities as well with the actors and Mark, myself, and
Yes, absolutely. So having a pleasure to work with the American Legion Post 556 in Jacksonville, the Raider Realty Foundation, these guys that are coming on board and being a part of the event is a huge opportunity and ties into kind of the morals and stuff that we want for the event too. I just didn't want anybody. I wanted it to make sense. So the American Legion, being some vets that are all local in Jacksonville, that hit home for me because I live in Jacksonville in North Carolina, and it's veterans in the area, one of which is a family member, and JT's starting to become that. Whether
Just
I like
JT.
Yeah,
whether
whether you like it or not.
whether I like it or
You
not.
can't choose your family.
And Mark, he I want to give you kind of the platform because what sold me on Mark is really what his foundation does for individuals, and not only with the military community, but I just think the families that uh, you're trying to help is just truly tremendous, and that's what really, if I knew nothing else about you, that's what really sold me on bringing you on board for the event. So I'm going to give you the floor to really say about that.
Well, I mean, I was just happy that y'all were able to kind of look at the foundation that we've set up, which is the Raider Realty Foundation, actually look at it as, something that's definitely going to give back to the community. We wanted our foundation to be kind of hyper local because as we all know, at least those of us that have kind of gone down range and lost people, it's not really like he's off in a better place, right? That's what all of us truly believe in. He's no longer with us, so we miss him. But at the end of the day, if you believe in the afterlife, if you believe in you're living your life the right way or whatever else, we all have this kind of notion that the afterlife is better possibly than lived life if you lived your life the right way. But his family doesn't realize that, right? Because his family is still here. So the reason why we started this foundation was to actually maintain that service member's legacy through his family, through being able to provide a house to his family with a minor child so that they can upbring their children into that house. And you want to talk about just remembering legacy, and especially like you want to talk about just, even the Mandalorian, right? They all have each other's backs and so on and so forth. It's the exact same concept as the military. And if we can show that minor dependent who lost their, mother or father in war, if we can show them that, like, hey, the military people came together, the community came together, and we're now supporting you, so your mom doesn't have to worry about freaking housing anymore.
Right.
I just think that's going to be profound, man. And it's gonna be a long road. It's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it's one of those great things. And like, when you really talk about what legacy is what you leave behind at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can show that we uphold that service member's legacy who ultimately made the ultimate sacrifice, right? I say the best amongst us are the ones that are no longer with us, because those guys, they made the ultimate sacrifice
Right.
or whatever else. And no matter what happens in, politics or whatever happens after wars end, which this one has now, but, those scars still remain. And I think it's important for us as a community, us as just a general, nation, United States, that we show that we don't forget shit like that, man. Like, we
Right.
don't forget people's sacrifices. And that's ultimately what this foundation is going to do. It's going to show that we actually remember those sacrifices that were made on our country's behalf.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm doing is a small part because it gives them 2-3 days tops to space out, but you're actually providing homes to people.
Yeah.
So
Good, yeah.
that's lifelong, and combining those two things together, I think is just great for families, for children, youth with the YMCA. Some of these kids don't have uh, a strong role model, parental figure in their
don't.
life.
Yeah.
So they turn to these shows for the hero and
It's the role model. Yeah.
being able to give them, wow, I can meet him. And even though you hear the cliche, sometimes it's not great to, meet your heroes. Fortunately, through my experience within a Comic-Con community, I wouldn't be doing a Mandalorian event if the guests that we have coming weren't great people and humble people, which is why in some of their VIP packages, they're going to be having their own charities that they're passionate about. And it goes back to what you were saying with the battleship, actually knowing the people, not just a character, but now you're going to actually get to know the people. One celebrity guest is going to be donating to an animal charity. Another one is very vocal and passionate about cancer. And those are hints for people that follow their social medias. We're not announcing celebrity guests, but we're giving you some hints. But each charity, you're going to be able to see what they're passionate about on top of the charities that we're working with, that you'll be able to donate to. And everything will be able to be in the app. So when you purchase your ticket, it'll be able to come up, your ticket's insured. You'll be able to check the box saying that you want to insure your ticket and round it up to donate to one of these great charities that we're working with. And we're also in the midst of hunting down and searching for a national nonprofit to support our military and veterans. And the YMCA, we're definitely going to make sure that those kids are treated like the celebrities themselves that weekend. And then before I forget, because I know we're going to dive in deep into this, I forgot it the last time, but there is a guy that makes custom Funko Pops. Everybody sees custom Funko Pops. So at our merch table, in the Paz Vizsla armor from the Mandalorian, and we're going to do a 3D scan and have just JT Funko Pops available at our merch table if you're interested. Just JT, and it's the number 69. So
I don't want to ask too many questions about that. All right. Roger that.
So I'm going to interject real quick. So you said that this is a small part of yours, and I completely disagree with that. We all do our part. Me and Mark gave our sacrifice. We had our friends that gave theirs. But at the end of the day, not everybody joins the military, and not everybody chooses that as a path. So one of the reasons I chose to do business with you is because I can see your heart is in the right spot, and everything you're doing is geared with these charities to provide for many different charities. While we have our focuses in our charities, the charities you're bringing into this gain a broader appreciation for the realm of charity and give to many different causes. And some people, they give regularly to the military. So maybe when they come back, this time and they're donating, maybe I'll give a little bit to this animal cause.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll give a little bit to this childhood cancer thing. And so it gives them a broader opportunity, because around here, a lot of charities are geared into the military realm, so to speak.
well,
So,
we're all passionate about
right.
something, right?
And what you're doing with this is great, because instead of this being and necessarily an opportunity for financial gain, you're taking that and incorporating the charity aspect into everything. And real quick, going back to my experience that I had going to my first Comic-Con, which was only a little over a year ago, I had an opportunity to sit and talk with Dmitry Dubrovsky. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
He's the one that played Darth Vader when he was in costume. Massive guy.
Suit actor.
Okay. Gotcha.
Phenomenal. I start talking to him, and then he start talking to my daughter about working hard and getting the things that you want in life by working hard, that they don't come easy. And then to top it off, in April this year, when I went with you and went down, I would just start off as an investor that had a booth, and you came and asked me to help out. You didn't want to, but I ended up helping out, and I ended up meeting the Power Rangers, and I got to joke around because I ended up picking them up from the airport. And they, so you a Power Rangers fan? And I was like, honestly, 5 minutes ago, I didn't even know who you were, Walter. And the whole time being in the vehicle with them to and from the airport, being around them for the entire weekend, it changed my mind on the way I see a lot of the Hollywood actors in my previous experiences. Walter Emmanuel Jones and Mike, I'm not going to remember his last name. I'm sorry, Mike. Gatto. Michael Gatto. He likes to be called Mikey, by the way. So if you're on a social media, make sure you call Mikey. Phenomenal people. Like, their hearts were in the right places. They talked to me. They didn't want to talk about themselves. They wanted to know about my Marines. They wanted to know about my experiences. They wanted to know who I had lost and, what their families were like. Not one time or like, let me tell you about, my experience in that realm. So they ended up being phenomenal people. And you can tell that they're the people that Chris chooses to work with in that industry. He surrounds himself with good people.
Yeah. Everybody that I've crossed, and I've crossed several fandoms that I was excited to meet, and it went south. But for the most part, I'd like to think that I have a good judge of character, and the people that I bring to these events, I don't want celebrities, because it's happened to me. I'll go up to an autograph booth, and the celebrity will be right here on their phone, and you'll be standing there, and it's that awkward moment. You'll just be waiting, like, should I jump? Should I get the girl's number? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then, what do you want? Oh yeah, you could pick one out right there, and then it kind of ruins it for you. Yeah. So I wanted people that, it started off to where I just wanted the individuals, right? So I just wanted the right people to come to the event, to be interactive and just kind of like, hey, how's it going? Come out. They come from behind the table. They take the picture. Oh, you know what? I'll give it to you for free. Like, just give a free extra autograph. Oh, you have a kid? Let me give them one too. Like, I look for all things like that with these individuals and the celebrities, because it's not about, I don't care if you're Superman. You can still be a jerk.
Right.
So
Homelander.
Huh?
Homelander.
Yeah. So I found these people, and then it just kind of expanded off of that, and then it was like, well, okay, let's give them actual interactive activities. The battleship being one. Another activity we'll throw out that we're trying to do is a craft workshop, to where kids and families will be able to make like Mandalorian helmets and wear all weekend. Axe throwing, that's another fun one that we'll do. So all things that you would never think in a million years. I want people to walk away to say, not only do they felt like they gave back to the community and they got something out of it, but I want people to go, man, if you would have told me 5 years ago that I was going to be sitting here doing this with this person, like, I would have told you we were crazy. So, because that's how I felt, when I started, I was a fan. Never knew what Comic-Cons was. I remember being exactly in my buddy Rue's living room, and I was doing MMA at the time, so I always had the rest in B face, going on, and then he started talking about Power Rangers, and I was just like, wait, what? And he was like, he tells the story better than I do, but he was like, I never saw you get so nerdy in like a brief second. And I was like, well, yeah, my first karate class was with Jason David Frank. So it was like, now you're talking about language. Now you're talking Power Rangers. Okay, I'm a little interested. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, you can meet these people, right? Get out of here. No. Jason's doing his schools in Texas and whatnot. He goes, no, there's Comic-Cons. And this was 2013. So I find out all the Power Rangers are going to be together in Pennsylvania. I head up to Pennsylvania. It was that quick. And then I saw my first client and dear friend, Kerrigan Mahan, who's the voice of Goldar on Power Rangers. It was like, they said it was going to be in Philly. It wasn't in Philly. And it was like, as soon as you got out your car, all you smelled was manure everywhere. And you're just like, oh, so I call my buddy Rue. So this is a Comic-Con, huh? And go inside, and there was some people there, but Kerrigan had nobody in his line, and we just started chopping it up for a little bit, and we really clicked. Then there was a cosplayer that was over on the side, and she had a line going down and around. Kerrigan gets out from his table. He comes over, stands by me, and he goes, what the hell is this all about? I was like, well, she dresses up as a character, and, people are paying for her autograph. And it floored him. He goes, wait, so you mean to tell me she's not an actress? No. Never acted a day in her life. No. She's just dressed up in a bikini. Yes. And she's getting paid. Yeah. I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Then he needed help with his social media. I help him out with that. I had no problem.
So this is how you actually got in this overall game.
Yeah, it was an honor to do it. And then he started telling me horror stories, like in Hollywood and the Comic-Con industry, of how bookings go and everything of that nature. And I said, well, it can't be that hard. And he goes, well, let me tell you how to do it. Here's how you do it. And then 24 hours, I booked him a gig. Yeah, and I was nervous. Like, I didn't show it, but I was nervous the first Comic-Con I booked him
Of
at.
course, man. Yeah, you never have fun at your own events. It
I
never happens.
I literally...
I never have fun at your own events.
I literally
You do it for other people.
came up there. I had khaki shorts, kind of typical Chris Bradley style, with a t-shirt on and a hat. And Kerrigan goes, you see all the agents? And I was like, where? He goes, all the guys in the suits. Oh, was I supposed to wear that? He goes, no, they're all looking at you. They're wondering who you are. I was like, I'm just a kid from Jersey. Like, he goes, well, that's the thing. That's your niche. That's it. And then then Kerrigan, when he gets amped up, he sounds like Jack Nicholson. So
don't be part of the herd, man.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
he was like,
if
watch.
you are, you better take care of it.
And it started to show, because I genuinely cared about like the people I worked with and my clients.
Of course, build relationships, maintain relationships.
Yeah, they just weren't a dime in my pocket.
Right.
So
Yeah, I want to be fucking with you if they were, man. So
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I'm not a transactional human being.
No,
Dude. At the end of the day, it's all about time and it's about effort. It's about actually giving a shit about one another, right?
yeah, exactly.
So, so I know we can't talk about everybody that's going to be there, right? But from the show itself, one can maybe assume that certain people from said show will be there.
Sure.
So can we just kind of get into the show a little bit more? The Mandalorian. I've watched it. I thought it was excellent. I really liked the main actor in it. But and it was kind of weird too because I actually just got done reading Musashi's Book of Five Rings, and it talks a lot about the way and the Dokudo. And it says the way much of times. And I'm like, I wonder if that was like part of the concept that started the Mandalorian. Is somebody read Musashi and was just like, hey, let's make this overall like Star Wars thing about this. But I guess I'd have to talk to George Lucas about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's available or not. But what can you tell us? Like tease it out or so on and so forth. But I mean, how are they going to buy the tickets? Where are they going to go? When are these things going to start being for sale? Like, how do you talk to the fans to let them know the information that they need to know in order to show up for this thing?
So October 1st, we're going to do a mass launch.
Okay.
The website, livingwatersexpo.com, is going to go live. Our social medias will go live. And the first 2 guest announcements we will do on the same day. So when we launch a guest announcement, the VIP package along with that guest will be launched at the same time. So you'll be able to see what charity they're going to incorporate with, what interactive activity you're going to be able to do with that said individual. And that'll all go through the website. Also on the website, you'll be able to keep up to date as far as our newsletter and type in your email and being able to go to the app because the app will go live probably a week later. Because just got to make sure all the bugs are out and everything. And then once the app goes live, you'll be able to monitor and go through everything there. If you have the app, you'll get guest announcements early. If you have the app, you'll be able to purchase your tickets early. And
this is something you can download off iPhone or like iTunes.
Yes.
This is going to be like an iTunes app. Right?
it'll be compatible for both Android and iPhone.
And what's the name of the website?
It'll be through livingwatersexpo.com.
So
and then we're going to have...
livingwatersexpo.com?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the event dates is April 12th through the 14th next year. Perfect weather, I think. That'll be...
It's indoors, I mean, for the most part.
Sure.
I know there's going to be outdoor stuff, but like the convention center is gorgeous.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's a beautiful area. And how many people can show up?
So 6,000 a day.
6,000 a day. Okay.
And
And y'all did this in Fayetteville as well, right? And y'all did something a little bit different, but in Fayetteville, I know that y'all had almost
Yeah.
that much in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And Wilmington, this is the first time ever. And I know you said the city's really helping you out quite a bit.
Oh
with
yeah,
this,
they've
right?
been super supportive. The city has been great. They're actually very excited about it. They know all the ins and outs. So to have their support, it's a true blessing.
Yeah. Right, your elected official. Maybe he'll spill the beans.
You should tell them a quick story about when they first submitted the package for this and they saw the name.
Well, I'll actually add to that because I actually talked with my pastor yesterday. And it kind of goes in previous into your other question as well, so it's perfect. So Living Waters Expo, originally they thought it was a church group coming in. Yeah. And I couldn't get anybody on the phone or anything of that nature. And then all of a sudden, the convention...
Drop the D word.
Yeah. the convention contacted the city, and then that's when they were like, no, it's Star Wars. And then I guess they put 2 and 2 together, and that little line, the little static shock just went, oh, okay, all right, I'm on board.
Money for my district, yes, come in.
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
then they got on board, but it's funny because, not against anybody that's not, but I am religious, and I was talking with my pastor yesterday, and I just found it interesting because going back to the show, The Mandalorian, it talks about, Mandos are very peculiar about their armor, and especially guys being in the military and everything. Your uniform is
gear before yourself. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. Your priorities of work and the gear comes first.
Right.
Comes before you eat.
so I think it's pretty remarkable that Mando's set up kind of the same way. They have their armor, and then I talked with my pastor. I was like, I just really started diving into it, and I find it strange that it's like also like they tell you to put on the whole armor of God and the breastplate of righteousness, and we started bouncing that back and forth off of each other. And I said, yeah. And they take the creed, when they do the creed, it's no different than kind of the word of God, that we do. I said, so it's pretty remarkable, the tie-ins, and especially when you guys are taking your oaths, like that. That's a huge moment for you guys. So I also want to incorporate something with one of our celebrity guests to where, fans of The Mandalorian can be dressed up in their Mando armors and they could take the creed right there.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
By one of the actors on the show and, be an official Mandalorian.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So that'd be, you got a ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going over my head, bro. I'm in a different.
The other package too, talking about oaths and.
Oh yeah, one of our actors will be ordained. So 2 couples, because we're not going crazy. Because when I say 2 couples, we already looked at the budget, so we already kind of put in our minds to say, okay, we could fly these 2 couples out, we could put them up in a hotel room, and one of the celebrities is getting ordained, and they're gonna marry them right there on the riverfront. So you'll have 2 of our other celebrity guests be witnesses, and then you'll basically be married by cast of The Mandalorian, and have that opportunity, which will be huge.
They better stay together.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll find them.
That's what I was gonna say. Even if they get an annulment the next day, they'll be like, "Hey, I still have my marriage certificate from the."
Yeah.
So offering things like that, boat tours. I'm working with Tideline Marine out in Jacksonville. We're looking at bringing in some boats in to, why not take advantage of it? We're right there on the water, bring a boat in, take a couple tours with some of the celebrity guests. That's something that I'm probably going to do myself. And then we're going to be raffling off a boat, which that's JT, man. Like I would have never thought in a million years, go to a Comic-Con, hey, I could get a boat. But it's a cool thing, and fans will be able to, maybe take a boat home for them. So you could elaborate on that a little.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is Tideline Marine, they're going to start it's a tiered raffle. So the more raffle tickets that are bought, the bigger the prize gets. So they'll start off with a few kind of boat accessories, propane and boat accessories. And then from there, it'll go to the first tier boat. And then from there, it's that first tier boat plussed out, a bunch of gadgets. And it's going to start with like a John Boy, right? And then from there, it's going to go up to a much more expensive boat. And then that boat will you go a little bit higher, that gets tricked out. And then from there, it goes to a really nice, it's called a Patriot Edition Aloha. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's red, white, and blue. So it just screams America, down the side of it as you're zipping by with your 200 horsepower engine on it. And the great thing about that is 75% of the ticket sales will go toward the raffle. The other 25% actually goes into donations for charity. So every time you buy a ticket, part of your money is going to the charity. The other part is going to pay for the dealer costs on those boats. And here's the great thing: if you're from California, obviously you flew here more than likely. So the great thing is that the boat can be ordered for you and then shipped directly to your house, so you don't have to haul it. On top of that, if maybe boating's not your thing and you win, then you have the option to just get in-store credit at the dealer cost amount of that boat that you would have won. And then you get in-store credit. So if you've already got a boat, but you don't have all that fishing gear because your wife won't let you spend all that money, this is a perfect opportunity. Maybe you have $80,000 to throw into lures and gray fishing rods.
A lot of fishing routes. He's starting up a company.
Yeah.
So, and that's George Papastrat with Tideline Marine in Jacksonville. Again, he's part of the American Legion as well. He's part of our community and very active in the community.
Yeah, he was gracious enough to donate something for our September 16th shootout too. So yeah,
Nice.
he's definitely a supporter of the veteran community here, which is awesome.
I'll be there to donate my ammo
Yeah, and your time,
downrange.
and your time,
And my time.
Yes. So just kind of wrapping everything up, man. Could you just kind of give us an overall synopsis? Where to get the tickets from, the dates again, who's all going to be there that you can actually talk about as of right now, and just kind of tell everybody, if they're going to watch this for a minute, what all do they need to know and where do they need to go?
So again, the event Living Waters Expo that's going to take place April 12th through the 14th of 2024. Our website will launch with social medias on October 1st. As far as purchasing tickets, after we get a couple celebrity guests, typically rule of thumb like 2 to 3, is when we'll be able to launch not only vendor applications to where vendors will be able to go in through the website or our app and purchase their booth and select their booth. On the app, it will actually show a map of which vendors are. So if you have a specific vendor you like, you could come out and hunt them down through our app and find them directly on the map. And also vendors, I noticed at several events that, you guys are sitting there looking at people walking by eating, and I've noticed, and I know that you're hungry. I know that you guys can't really leave the table much, so I'm going to make sure that you guys get a meal a day at the event and that you guys are fed. Tickets will launch around the same time, so ticketing for the event. Once we launch tickets, if you put in your email address, you'll be notified first. If you have the app, you'll be able to get that directly sent to you, to where you'll be able to purchase and see the charitable organizations that we're working with. Again, we are looking for a national nonprofit for veterans and military. So if you guys, if this finds your way, and you feel free to reach out at Knuckle Up Appearances, and I am on Instagram and Facebook. I'll be happy to explain more of everything that we're trying to accomplish, and look forward to working with you. Local organizations throughout Wilmington, whether you're pop culture, you make bracelets, you're an artist, we'd love to give you a spot and give you a vendor booth and work with you and see what we could put together. I'm all for promoting artists in local communities and businesses. So I have no problem with that. The attendees, I am expecting tickets to go fairly quickly, especially after a couple guest announcements. So if you see something that you like, even if it's a general admission ticket, I recommend just getting it just to come hang out. We'll have plenty of activities outside and inside, weather permitting, that you guys will be able to do all day. Some people just want to come just to come. They don't really get into the whole celebrity thing. So there will be things there for you. Kids face painting to going on a boat. There'll be plenty of things for everybody to experience, and getting the community involved and make it feel like we're giving back. So.
And then as far as sponsorship opportunities, I know Raider Home Loans, I saw the value in what you're doing
Sure.
for my business and mortgages and everything else. Are y'all still looking for corporate level sponsorships going forward, or is that closed for this year?
There's a possibility, but my grandfather always had the philosophy of you don't go with possibilities, you go with black and white. So there is a possibility for one, but yes, we are looking for one corporate level sponsorship and maybe 2 to 3 local, but no more than that. Where again, my grandmother, I always refer to my grandparents. My grandmother was always like, I didn't raise no idiot. So, while these things are fun and interactive, they're not cheap. We're blessed with the celebrities that are coming in for what they're willing to do because they're passionate about things too. But these things aren't cheap that we want to accomplish. And if we really want to make this big and everlasting, if we want to bring it for years to come, then please get involved with us, and we could make it bigger and better every single year. So this is just the beginning. As far as other things that we're looking to do, we're looking to do pop-up events. I just found out recently that the replica Transformer cars are in North Carolina, like the actual vehicles. So I'm thinking of throwing something together to where like the Transformer vehicles come out. Kids, my son will love that. And I know kids will love getting. I mean, maybe even us.
Yeah.
We'll get in the
Oh, yeah.
vehicle.
Yeah.
But little pop-up events like that. Good friend of mine, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, WWE wrestler. He just recently passed away. and his family. WWE was gracious to announce that his merchandise sales is going to go to his kids. His oldest kid is 11, and his youngest kid is 3. And I'm 36, and he was 36, and he passed away. So it's a wake up call for me, and just little pop up events to do for like them or people in the community. I'm all about it. So while what Living Waters Expo is something big, there will be stuff in the midst of everything that I'm looking to help people out with too. So
Chris, appreciate you coming down and having the conversation today. Mark, thanks for joining us and shedding a little bit more light on your foundation. Crystal Coast, North Carolina, hope this gives you some light in the future for a great event coming up. Until then, stay safe, stay motivated, stay positive, and definitely stay blessed.